Hello friends, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. I am very excited for this video. Let's just get right into it, shall we? Basically, there's this thing called the Rory Gilmore Reading List, if you've never heard of it. If you're a fan of Gilmore Girls, you will know that Rory Gilmore is incredibly well read. So basically, someone put together a list of all of the books that are referenced in the show. It's a lot. For the sake of the video, I'm just using the BuzzFeed one, which has 339. So today I'm going to check in and see how many I've gotten through so far. So let's get into it. So here is the list. I will link the BuzzFeed little quiz down below if you want to take it yourself. Let's get started. 1984 is on my bookshelf, haven't read it. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Alice in Wonderland, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Never even heard of that. An American Tragedy, Angela's Ashes, Anna Karenina, Diary of a Young Girl, Archimedean War, Art of Fiction, Art of War, As I Lay Dying. Jeez, I haven't read any of these. Atonement. I just heard the premise of that one for the first time, and I was like, dang, I should read that. But I have not. Autobiography of a Face, The Awakening, Babe, Backlash, Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress, Bel Canto. The Bell Jar has been on my TBR for forever, but I've never read it. Beloved, finally, I have read that one. Beowulf, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bielski Brothers, Bitch in Praise of Difficult Women. That sounds like something that I would read, but I have not read it yet. A Bolt from the Blue and Other Essays. Brave New World, I have read. Brick Lane, Brigadoon. Candide is also on my shelf, but I have not read it yet. The Canterbury Tales, Carrie, I have read. I have a huge problem with the way that Stephen King represents women, but we don't need to talk about that today. The Catcher in the Rye, I have read. I really want to reread that one because so many people say it's super problematic, and so I want to be clear on my opinion of it, because if I like it, I will defend it. Charlotte's Web, I have read. The Children's Hour, Christine by Stephen King. No, I've not read that one. A Christmas Carol, yes I have. Clockwork Orange, The Code of the Woosters, The Collected Stories by Eudora Welty, Comedy of Errors, no. Complete Novels by Dawn Powell, Complete Poems by Anne Sexton, Complete Stories by Dorothy Parker, A Confederacy of Dunces, My Count of Monte Cristo, Cousin Bet. Crime and Punishment, no. I really feel like I should get into Russian literature just to see if I like it, because I've never tried it before. Crimson Petal and the White. Sounds interesting. The Crucible, I have read. Cujo, nope. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Have read that one. You know what? It was good. I would recommend that one. Daughter of Fortune, David and Lisa, David Copperfield. Okay, I read A Tale of Two Cities by Dickens, and I really liked it, but his thick novels just really intimidate me. The Da Vinci Code, no. Dead Souls, Demons, Death of a Salesman. I went to see it. Does that count? Probably not. D&E by Judy Blume, Devil in the White City. My dad has that one, and I've been wanting to read it for so long, but I have not read it yet. The Dirt, no. Divine Comedy, no. Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. Don Quixote. I really feel like I should read that one. Driving Miss Daisy. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Again, I want to read that one. Edgar Allan Poe, Complete Tales and Poems. These collections, I'm like, how do you know if you've read the exact one? I have a collection of Edgar Allan Poe poems and short stories. I don't know if it's the complete one. I haven't read the whole thing anyway, so kind of a moot point. Eleanor Roosevelt, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, Ella Minnow P. A Novel in Letters. That sounds fun. Eloise, nope. Emily the Strange. Emma by Jane Austen. It is right there. I just bought a new copy and it is gorgeous. I'll show you. Look how pretty she is. Gorgeous. Empire Falls, Encyclopedia Brown. I genuinely don't know if I've read this one. I feel like I might have, but I'm not going to check it off. Ethan Frome, Ethics by Spinoza, Europe Through the Back Door. I will never read I will never read that. Mad respect for Rick Steves, but I will never read that. Ava Luna, Everything is Illuminated, Extravagance Fahrenheit 451 I have read, and I loved it. I really loved it, and it makes me want to read more Ray Bradbury. Fahrenheit 9/11, New, Fall of the Athenian Empire, Fatland, How Americans Became the Fattest People in the World. I have not read it. Sounds like an interesting read. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Fellowship of the Ring, I'm reading currently, also on this little pile here. I'm loving it. Fiddler on the Roof, surprisingly I have not read. I took an entire class on Yiddish theater and we did not read Fiddler on the Roof. Anyway, continuing on. The Five People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, have not read. Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce. James Joyce, oh my gosh, if you want to be a little bit horrified, look up James Joyce love letters. That's all I'm going to say about that. Fletch, Flowers for Algernon, The Fortress of Solitude, The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Have not read, and I don't know if I will ever have the mental stability to read that, because, oh my gosh, I feel like it would just piss me off the entire time. Okay, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, I have read, and I thoroughly enjoyed. Franny and Zoe by J.D. Salinger, also have read, did not enjoy. Freaky Friday, yes. Galapagos, no. Gender Trouble is on my TBR, haven't read it. George W. Bushism, The Slate Book of the Accidental Wit and Wisdom of Our 43rd President. Gidget by Frederick Kohner, nope. I have read Girl Interrupted. It was very interesting. I watched the book. What? I read the book and then watched the movie, and I enjoyed both. First of all, I just want to say I love Winona Ryder. She's an icon. The Gnostic Gospels, The Godfather. Haven't read, but I would be curious to. The God of Small Things, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I think I have. I'm just going to check it off. Gone with the Wind, The Good Soldier, The Gospel According to Judy Blume, The Graduate, The Grapes of Wrath, The Great Gatsby. Of course, I've read that one. That's another one I feel like I should reread. Great Expectations, The Group, Hamlet I've read. Twice now, actually. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, of course. Read all the Harry Potter books. Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. Heart of Darkness, no. Helter Skelter, The True Story of the Manson Murders. That sounds really interesting, actually. I haven't read it, though. Henry IV, Part 1, Henry IV, Part 2, Henry V, I have read. High Fidelity, on my TBR, have not read it. History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, nope. Holidays on Ice, I love David Sedaris so much. He's so funny. So yeah, I read Holidays on Ice. Highly recommend. The Holy Barbarians, House of Sand and Fog, The House of the Spirits, How to Breathe Underwater, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I genuinely do not know if I've read that before. I'm not going to check it off, but I really don't know. How the Light Gets In, Howl by Allen Ginsberg, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Iliad, I'm with the Band, In Cold Blood, Inferno. I have such a pretty copy of Inferno, but I've never read it. Inherit the Wind, Iron Weed, It Takes a Village. You know what? I would read Hillary Clinton's book. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Toilet Club. Haven't read that one yet, but I really want to. I have read Julius Caesar. That one is interesting. The Jumping Frog. No. Jungle. No. Just a Couple of Days. The Kitchen Boy, a novel of the last Tsar. Interesting. Kitchen Confidential. Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. Oh, The Kite Runner. I really want to read that, but I haven't. Lady Shatterley's Lover. The Last Empire. Nope. Leaves of Grass. The Legend of Bagger Vance. Less Than Zero. Letters to a Young Poet. Lies and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them. That sounds like a fun book. Life of Pi. Little Dorrit. Again, I really feel like I should get more into Charles Dickens, but someday. The Little Locksmith. The Little Match Girl. Little Women. I started this one, got like 100 pages in, and then DNF'd it. I would like to go back and read it again, but I just couldn't. Delivering History by Hillary Rodham Clinton. Lord of the Flies. Ah yes, what an interesting read. The Lottery and Other Stories. I have read The Lottery, but not other stories. I've read 2 Shirley Jackson books, which were both amazing. Highly recommend. We Have Always Lived in the Castle and The Haunting of Hill House. Good. Good shows. What? Good books. The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor are also incredible Netflix shows. Okay. The Lovely Bones. I watched the movie and really did not like it. The Love Story, Macbeth. Oh my gosh, I was about to check that one off. I have not read it. Madame Bovary, The Manticore, Marathon Man, The Master, and Margarita. Nope. Memoirs of a Dutiful Daughter. Ooh, Simone de Beauvoir. Haven't read anything by her, I don't think, but I really want to get into more like feminist literature, so maybe I should take some of the recommendations off this list. Memoirs of General W.T. Sherman. Meet Talk Pretty One Day by David Sedaris. Like I said, love him, but I haven't read that one. The Meaning of Consuelo. Mencken's Chrestomathy. The Merry Wives of Windsor. The Metamorphosis. Middlesex. The Miracle Worker. Moby Dick. I really feel like I will never read Moby Dick. The Mojo Collection. The Ultimate Music Companion. Molière, a Biography. A Monetary History of the United States. That sounds so boring. Monsieur Proust? No. A Month of Sundays, Searching for the Spirit and My Sister. That sounds interesting, actually. A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. It's on my TBR, but I haven't read it. Mrs. Dalloway, I have read. It wasn't my favorite, and I really want to like Virginia Woolf, so we'll see. Mutiny on the Bounty. My Lay 4. Report on the Massacre and its Aftermath. My Life as an Author and Editor. My Life in Orange. Growing Up with the Guru. This one sounds super interesting. I think it's about a guy who grows up in a cult, but I haven't read it, and I really want to. Mira Waldo's Travel and Motoring Guide to Europe. Yeah, never gonna read that. My Sister's Keeper. The Naked and the Dead. The Name of the Rose. The Namesake. The Nanny Diaries. Nervous System or Losing My Mind in Literature. New Poems of Emily Dickinson. The New Way Things Work. Nickel and Dimed. Night by Elie Wiesel. I haven't read that one yet, but I do want to. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. Ugh, my queen Jane Austen. The Norton Anthology of Theory and Criticism. No. Novels 1930 to 1942 by Don Powell. Notes of a Dirty Old Man by Charles Bukowski. I also am curious to see why Charles Bukowski is like super problematic. I haven't read anything by him. Of Mice and Men. I haven't read it, but I have it right here. Old School, On the Road. Oh yes, On the Road. I've read that one. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. 100 Years of Solitude. The Opposite of Fate. Memories of a Writing Life by Amy Tan. Oh my goodness. Nope, haven't read that. Oracle Night. Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. I do want to read this because I loved... Is it A Handmaid's Tale or The Handmaid's Tale? I always forget. I read that and I loved it, so I really want to read more Margaret Atwood. Othello by Shakespeare. That's a fun one. Our Mutual Friend. The Outbreak of the Peloponnesian War. Out of Africa. The Outsiders. On my shelf. Haven't read it. Passage to India. The Peace of Nicias and the Sicilian Expedition. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Yep. I love that book so much. Charlie, I just like want to give him a hug all the time. Peyton Place. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I want to read so badly, but I haven't. Pigs at the Trough. Pinocchio. Please Kill Me. The Uncensored Oral History of Punk. The Polysyllabic Spree. The Portable Dorothy Parker. The Portable Nietzsche. The Price of Loyalty. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. One of my favorite books of all time. Property. Pushkin, a Biography. Pygmalion. Quattrocento. A Quiet Storm. Rapunzel. Yes, I have read that one. The Raven is not a book, but I've read it. The Razor's Edge by W. Somerset Maugham. I don't know. I liked that one. Reading Lolita in Tehran. A Memoir in Books. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. That one is so creepy and so good. So if you're into gothic literature, read it. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, The Red Tent, Rescuing Patty Hearst, The Return of the King, new. R is for Ricochet, Rita Hayworth, Robert's Rules of Order, Roman Holiday, Romeo and Juliet. Ah yes, I was forced to read that for school my freshman year of high school. Hated it. At 14. That was not it. A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. Nope. A Room with a View by E.M. Forster. I've only read one book by him, and it was Maurice, and I did not vibe with it. Rosemary's Baby, The Rough Guide to Europe, 2003. No. Sacred Time, Sanctuary by William Faulkner. Oh my gosh, William Faulkner, so hard to read. Savage Beauty, The Life of Edna St. Vincent Millay. No. Say Goodbye to Daisy Miller by Henry James. I have read, but that's actually not the title. It's just Daisy Miller. I don't know, this is incorrect, but yeah, I have read it. Scarecrow of Oz, yes, I have read all of the Wizard of Oz books. The Scarlet Letter, also read that one. Seabiscuit, An American Legend. The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. The Secret Life of Bees. Secret of the Flesh, A Life of Colette. That sounds interesting. Selected Hotels of Europe. Are you kidding? Selected Letters of Don Powell. There's a lot of Don Powell stuff in here, huh? Sense and Sensibility. I love Jane Austen. A Separate Peace. Several biographies of Winston Churchill. The Rosy Crucifixion. Sexist by Henry Miller. The Shadow of the Wind. Shane, The Shining. I did read. It was not as scary as I expected, but I actually, for the most part, I enjoyed it. Siddhartha, I want to read, but I haven't. S is for Silence, Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, I have read. Small Island, Snows of Kilimanjaro. Snow White and Rose Red, I have read. Social Origins of Dictatorship and Democracy. The Song of Names, Song of the Simple Truth. The Complete Poems of Julia de Burgos. Song Reader, Songbook, Sonnets by William Shakespeare, Sonnets from the Portuguese, Sophie's Choice, The Sound and the Fury. Yep, I read that. It was probably the most traumatic reading experience of my life. Speak, Memory, Stiff, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers. Nope. The Story of My Life by Helen Keller. A Streetcar Named Desire. Yep, I just read that this semester actually. I don't really know how to feel about it. Stuart Little. I don't know. I'm not going to check it out, but I might have read that. I'm not sure. The Sun Also Rises, Swan's Way, Swimming with Giants, My Encounters with Whales, Dolphins, and Seals. That sounds interesting. Sybil, A Tale of Two Cities. Yes, I read that one. Tender is the Night, Terms of Endearment, Time and Again, The Time Traveler's Wife, To Have and Have Not, To Kill a Mockingbird. Yep, I read that one. A lot of these I've read for English, which is probably unsurprising. The Tragedy of Richard III, A Tree Goes in Brooklyn, The Trial by Franz Kafka, The True and Outstanding Adventures of the Hunt Sisters, Truth and Beauty of Friendship, Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom, Ulysses by James Joyce. I feel like anyone who has read that not for school probably hates themselves. The Unabridged Journals of Sylvia Plath, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Unless by Carol Shields, Valley of the Dolls. That's on my TBR, I think. I'm pretty sure. The Vanishing Newspaper, Vanity Fair, Velvet Underground, The Virgin Suicides. I watched the movie but haven't read the book. Waiting for Godot. I have read that, and it is probably one of the weirdest things I've ever read. Walden has been on my TBR for so long. Haven't read it though. Obviously, if it's on my TBR, I haven't read it. Walt Disney's Bambi / Bambi: A Life in the Woods. War and Peace. We Owe You Nothing. Punk Planet. There's a lot of stuff about punk in here, huh? What Color Is Your Parachute? What Happened to Baby Jane? When the Emperor Was Divine. Who Moved My Cheese? I have read that in like 7th grade, I think. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I have not read this one, but I just read The Goat by Edward Albee. It was so weird. I kind of liked it, but it was bizarre. Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. Ooh. The Wizard of Oz. Yep. Wuthering Heights. I haven't read. The Yearlings. And last but not least, The Year of Magical Thinking. Have not read that one. Alright, I checked 49. Dang, that's actually more than I expected. 49 out of 339. Not bad! It felt like not a lot as I was going through it, but that's really not bad. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Clearly I've got a lot more to add to my TBR, so that's exciting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I would love to see your beautiful face here again next Sunday. Do something nice for yourself today, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye!